Hey, what's going on, guys? So, in the public sphere, when you talk about worldviews, when you talk about the culture, there are two pretty dominant worldviews that you can have. One is the evolutionary worldview, the other is the Christian creationism creator worldview. Now, the way that these two worldviews are often framed is naturalistic evolution is the neutral, completely scientific, grounded view, and creationism is akin to superstition. In this video, I want to destroy that stronghold. I just want to tell you that we have been lied to about the origins of naturalistic evolution. And in fact, naturalistic evolution, the original thinkers on this theory were not even real scientists. And they also claim to have gotten their information from spirits. And I want to prove that to you. So there's this book called The Evolution Handbook. It's a great book. It goes through the history of these different people, these different thinkers. And what's interesting is the people that we're going to talk about in this video are not even scientists. They're philosophers who just spend their time theorizing. So I want to read this quote for you. So prior to the middle of the 1800s, scientists were researchers who firmly believed that all nature was made by a master designer. Those pioneers who laid the foundation of modern science were creationists. They were men of giant intellect who struggled against great odds in carrying on their work. They were hard-working researchers. In contrast, the philosophers sat around, hardly stirring from their armchairs, and theorized about everything, while the scientists, ignoring them, kept at their work. But a change came about in the 19th century when the philosophers tried to gain control of the scientific endeavor and suppress research and findings that would be unfavorable to their theories. Today's evolutionists vigorously defend unscientific theories they thought up over a century ago. So now I want to read you some of these supposed scientists that were some of the original thinkers on naturalistic evolution. I just want to give you a little spoiler. A lot of these people were before Darwin, before Darwin's time. And even Darwin himself, you'll find out something in this video you didn't even know about him. So here is the first guy. So Carl Lynn, 1707 to 1778. So Carl Lynn was a creationist. He was a scientist who classified immense numbers of living organisms. An earnest creationist saw there were no halfway species. All plant and animal species were a definite category separate from one another. Variation was possible within a species, and there were many subspecies, but there were no crossovers from one species to another. And we have a man by the name of Heinrich who discovered the first law of thermodynamics. But I want to flip over to these the individuals who were the evolutionists, and I want you guys to hear where they got their information from, where they claim to have got their information from. Emanuel Swedenborg, 1688 to 1772, says he was a do-nothing expert. In his 1734 book, Principia, he theorized that a rapidly rotating nebula formed itself into our solar system of sun and planets. He claimed that he obtained the idea from spirits during a seance. It is significant that the nebular hypothesis theory originated from such a source. So this guy, Swedenborg, who came up with this nebula hypothesis theory, says he got the information during a seance from spirits. Now, if you know anything about the law of God, seances and witchcraft are exclusively against God's law and tap into the demonic realm, the realm of Satan, the realm of the evil one. It's very interesting that this guy Swedenborg claims to have gotten this information from evil spirits. Let's move on to another one. So another man by the name of John Baptist Lamorak, he made It says he made himself a name by theorizing. He accomplished little else of significance. He laid the foundation of modern evolutionary theory with the concept of inheritance of acquired characteristics, which was later given the name Lamarckism. In 1809, he published a book, Philosophy Zoologique, in which he declared that a giraffe got its long neck by stretching it up to reach the higher branches, and birds who lived in water grew webbed feet. That sounds like science fiction. That doesn't sound like how nature actually works. But this Lamarck individual is one of the OGs on naturalistic evolution. Let's move on. Mr. Robert Chambers, 1802 to 1883, another evolutionary thinker. It says he was a spiritualist who regularly communicated with spirits. As a result of his contacts, he wrote the first popular evolution book in all of Britain called Vestiges of Creation. It was printed 15 years before Darwin's book, Origin of the Species. So another individual who published before Darwin, who had naturalistic evolution as his foundation, and this individual claimed to have gotten the information from evil spirits. Okay, so I wanted to read you guys some of those quotes because I want to destroy that stronghold that is so prevalent in our culture. That acts like naturalistic evolution has always been this neutral scientific thing. It's not. It never has been, and it still is not to this day. Because when you start with a bad, weak, faulty, just completely shoddy foundation, everything else crumbles. And if you have a naturalistic evolution worldview, you're breaking the first and second law of thermodynamics. You're breaking so many laws of nature to even come to the conclusion that naturalistic evolution is possible. But not only that, the thinkers on this theory, some of the OG thinkers, claim to have gotten their information from the devil, from spirits. Now, they would not tell you it was the devil, but I'm here to tell you, as a child of God and one who speaks for the King, the Lord of hosts, because I am a Christian, that if you are doing seances and you are communicating with spirits and doing witchcraft, you are tapping into the demonic realm. God warned the children of Israel so many times about don't commit witchcraft, don't do seances, don't contact mediums, because when you do that, you are contacting the evil one. You're fellowshipping with demons. God warns about that. So friends, I've thought this myself for a very long time, since I've been looking into the origins of evolution and just looking in the ins and outs of it versus creationism. I've thought for a very long time that this theory has come from the mind of Satan, because the underpinnings and the foundation of it is anti-God, anti-creator, anti-Christian, anti-Christ. The foundation of evolution, it starts that there is no God. Everything about it. You go to a university where the professor heavily believes in evolution. You may even get him making fun of the idea of God. And everything about that theory is against the God of heaven, is against God's dear son, Jesus Christ, the resurrected Lord and Savior who is at the right hand of God. But as a bonus, as I promised before, we're going to look at one more individual in this video. And this individual, you might have heard of him before, is none other than Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, 1809 to 1882. He was born into wealth and able to have a life of ease. He took 2 years of medical school at Edinburgh University, and then he dropped out. This is the only scientific training he ever received, because he spent time in the bars with his friends and he barely passed his courses. Darwin had no particular purpose in life, and his father planned to get him a nicely paid job as a minister. Darwin did not object, but an influential relative got him a position as an unpaid naturalist on a ship planning to sail around the world, the Beagle. The voyage lasted from December 1831 to October 1836. It is of interest that after engaging in spiritism, certain men of history have been seized with a deep hatred of God and have been guided to devise evil teachings that have destroyed large numbers of people. We even see that known spiritists such as Sigmund Freud and Adolf Hitler practiced this. It's not commonly known that Charles Darwin, while a naturalist on board the Beagle, was initiated into witchcraft in South America by nationals. During horseback travels into the interior, he took part in the witchcraft ceremonies, and as a result, something happened to him. And upon his return to England, although his health was strangely weakened, he spent the rest of his life working on theories to destroy faith in the Creator. Darwin was initiated into witchcraft on that voyage, on the Beagle, and then shortly after that, he dedicated his life to formulating theories that destroyed faith in the God of heaven. My friends, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. He died on your behalf. He resurrected on your behalf. Hundreds of witnesses saw him. We have written testimony throughout the ages about the resurrected Christ. He now sits at the right hand of God, and he's going to come again one day in judgment. He's not coming again to die for us again. He's coming again to judge the entire world. All those men that we just read will be judged by Jesus. You will be judged by Jesus. I will be judged by Jesus. We need to get ready. We need to get prepared. Thank you guys for listening. To the next one. Peace.